Hi, let us understand what is host networking within Docker. As a part of networking, earlier we discussed about bridge networking. The same way, we can create another type of networking called host networking. So what happens whenever I am creating a host networking, the container will get the same IP address as the host, and data getting received in that specific host will get mapped to the container, and we don't need to have an explicit mapping on the ports. The reason why we will be going for the host networking is whenever we wanted to avoid the NAT translation, that is network address translation, and then move the traffic to the specific container for the better performance, we can use the host networking. And biggest disadvantage of host networking is in each host, I can have only one container attaching or getting created with the host networking. And this we will be creating mainly to avoid too many number of port mappings, and generally, it is not recommended, but even though to some extent it's going to improve the performance, mostly we will do this to avoid too many number of port mapping. Let's go ahead and do a demo by creating a host networking. I'm going to create a container in the name of redis_host, and network, I will mention it as host. Let me list the containers available. Docker container ls. So I do have the redis_host available up and running. We can go ahead and inspect the container using the inspect command. It's going to get the same IP address as this specific host, and in fact all the network adapters will be accessible within the container. For that, we can go ahead and execute the ifconfig using the exec command of the container and get all the Ethernet adapter attached to this specific container. Docker container exec and then the name of the container, that is redis_host ifconfig. So it got the IP address 53, and it does have access to the Docker 0 as well as the local loopback. Let me go ahead and do the ifconfig on the local host machine. It doesn't have. Maybe to differentiate, let me go ahead and create a container and see what happens. I'm going to create a container with the name redis_def. Now let me go ahead and do the ifconfig against this specific container. Docker container exec container name ifconfig. So it got a separate IP address on Ethernet 0, and it doesn't have access to Docker 0. So that's the main difference between the host networking and the normal Docker networking. In the host networking, the entire list of Ethernet adapters will get attached to the container, and I cannot create one more container with the host networking. Let me go ahead and give a try. Docker container run, and the name I am providing it as redis_host_2, and I am providing network as host. Let me go ahead and list the containers available. It's not available. Let me go ahead and list all the containers using the flag -a. So it got exited. Redis_host_2 got exited. I can check the logs of that specific container. Docker container logs tail 10 redis_host_2. So it will not be in a position to create and bound to the list of ports required. The reason because already a container with the host networking is up and running. Now let me go ahead and export the host file of the container created with the host networking. So that's going to have the same mapping as the host. Let me go ahead and explore the resolve.config as well. So in a quick summary, we had seen how to create a host networking against a container and what are all the advantages as well as disadvantages of host networking for a container.